culture. We believe in a world where diversity is a source of strength, awareness normalizes challenging the status quo, wellness is a collective journey, and action means equitable investment of time and resources to historically underrepresented populations.
You know, when I moved to Austin, the saying was, keep Austin weird. But there's nothing weird about displacing an entire community of people.
My dad's born in 1959. He was in the house since he was 4 years old. The house is no longer in the family. We don't own it anymore.
I've seen a lot of our historical landmarks and our Black history here in the city be altered.
St. John's was a predominantly Black community at one point.
It's a really scary thing, you know, because for a person who is born and raised here, it kind of lives like you're being stripped of who you are.
They were already starting to plan to tear down even like the hospital I was born in.
You know, this isn't the same city that we moved to 14 years ago.
It's really taken a toll on a lot of folks here in town.
As much as this city is super welcoming, I do think that there's just a lot of people that go under the radar and like their needs go under the radar or they can't find the space. And I think that DAWA works really hard to create that space for that group of people.
The acronym is Diversity, Awareness, and Wellness in Action. I chose DAWA to have that foundation of healing from the very inception of it. It's like a prayer. DAWA is medicine. It's a Swahili word that means medicine.
So DAWA has 4 areas of focus. They have the DAWA Fund, raising money, giving cash in hand to those in need.
You don't know when your next check is coming, so it was super helpful in like easing my mind and like helping me to not stress during that time, feeling supported, still feeling purposeful, and just having that as a resource and support to lean on made a crucial difference for me.
I was working for a commercial investment firm with their maintenance division, and I was kind of fed up with the way I was being treated, and that kind of came to a head one day when my boss made a significant remark, and this was around the George Floyd and a lot of Black Lives Matter acts.
When he called me and he said that someone had had a bag of mulch and had put their foot on the mulch and said, "What does this look like to you?"
That kind of shook me up, and I actually had my first anxiety attack that day.
He was just like, "Mom, I can't do this. It's not safe."
I'm scared. I'm like freaking out. I can't move. And she's like, "Well, breathe." I was like, "I can't."
And I was just like, then it's just time to go.
That's what really was the straw that broke the camel's back.
And then the next thing he told me was just like, "I just got a grant from DAWA." Just the next thing you know, he's self-employed, a Black-owned business owner.
It really felt like somebody saw me and was like, "You need this. I want to help you. I want to see you grow." And that's exactly what it was, and that's exactly what it did.
DAWA Studios is a content creation studio for the BIPOC community.
DAWA is about that action. It's not just random letters.
There's no separation to me between art and community. Like, art is one of the most powerful tools to build community and bring people together. And that's something that I've always kind of known innately, but also something I've explored and grown in terms of my ability to do that.
There's a lot of people who said they were going to be doing X, Y, and Z, and it always happens like that. But then there's also a population of people who actually do the work.
In partnership with South by Southwest, Vision 8291 focuses on centering and elevating the work of visionary BIPOC artists and leaders with the intention of annually raising funds to directly support the work of Austin BIPOC-led grassroots organizations. And the Black Lives Music Fund creates artist education and economic initiatives to help recipients build sustainable music careers.
DAWA is out in the community providing something that's so positive, and it has healing mechanisms to it.
We have organizations like DAWA that fight against the grain, even on a level where Chaka's, downtown at City Hall, raising his voice in there and advocating for us. You need the people that do that.
After working with DAWA, I had a true shift in my belief system in the way that nonprofits can be used for truly accomplishing and staying to what the mission, vision, and goal is that is set out.
What it looks like right now is that we distributed almost $300,000 to the community in 5 years, including $32,000 during the winter storm.
When he seen that Weekend was actually out there putting our lives at risk, DAWA called and asked what they could do to assist and gave us a donation, which helped us buy most of the resources actually that we gave away.
The work that the social worker does, the work that the teacher does, the work that healthcare providers, those that take care of our elderly, their work is so essential. So when we support that specific group, we are supporting an entire community.
It feels good to know that there are people who are willing to invest in those of us who are out in the community trying to make a difference.
They invest in us all the time. It's time for us to return the favor.
I mean, this is what makes Austin weird. This is what makes Austin great. Leaders like Shaka that really want to build a community, and it starts at that grassroots level.
When I think of DAWA being here for a long time and evolving, I think of more healing, more medicine, and more opportunities and resources for Black and brown people within the city.
DAWA means building the capacity of givers to give.
The future for DAWA is making giving to the givers a national movement. I've put my time, my sweat, my energy into this place that I love, and I have to make sure that myself as a giver, the generations that come underneath me, know that they have a place here.
So if you are someone that has been moved by a teacher, if you are someone that's been moved by works of art that you see, if you're somebody that's moved by live music and things of that nature, it's gonna go away if you don't invest in it. And so when you invest in someone like me and you invest in DAWA, you are empowering thousands and thousands of people to be whole, to be themselves, to follow their passion as educators, to follow their passion as caretakers. When you invest in DAWA, you're investing in them, in that community, in their work.
Hi, I'm Elisa.
I'm Ben.
And this is E for You. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Lisa. Welcome to season 2.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy for being here. We made it this far. Today's theme. What's today's theme, Ben? How are we going to start off strong?
Environmental justice.
Okay.
And
today's guest is a very special guest. We have been very honored with your presence today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Reza Christian. I am founder of Sustain the Mag and co-founder of Slow Fashion Festival based in Austin, Texas. And yeah, I just am excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being
here.
Thanks for being here. You see, like we had to put all this greenery out just for you. I was like, we need it for Reza. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's very much your vibe.
I love green.
Yes, it's my favorite color. Yeah. So today we're gonna get into a few little questions for you, Ben. How are we gonna?
Let's start off with Yuppers.
Oh, we forgot about her.
We definitely.
Okay. Reza, what's your Yuppers?
I would say ice cream.
Okay.
Wait, what's a Yupper again?
Okay, so Yuppers is...
For season 2 viewers.
For those of you that don't know, and old friends, Yuppers is a highlight of the past week that we have. Like, it can be anything. I've actually been called out. I've said coffee a lot on the podcast. I've had multiple people address that in my personal life. They've been like, you only talk about coffee for Yuppers, but it can be anything. It can be like something cool you did, something that like a new spot you found, a new band you discovered. I think we like try to keep it local, like things in Austin, because this is more like a community, Austin community podcast. But I mean, it can be anything.
Well, okay. The reason why I said ice cream is because right before this, I basically had Zeds for dessert or for lunch or dinner, And it's a local New Zealand ice cream spot. So that was like my highlight of today, was just like eating ice cream for dinner.
Okay.
yeah.
What'd you get?
It is a blackberry vanilla with Buñuelo crunch and chocolate drizzle. It's so good.
Okay.
So fresh.
Don't they make that with like a special ice cream like Tillamook or something? I don't know how you say that name. But what kind of ice cream do they have?
It's like a vanilla soft serve, but then they put fresh fruit and they mix it in the vanilla to make it flavored. And it's like actual like fresh berries, fresh bananas. And then they can do a non-dairy coconut vanilla base as well. So it's like healthy, but good.
It's healthy but dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah.
And Ben,
am I tripping, or did you say New Zealand ice cream?
It's a New Zealand like
What
concept, but it's here in Austin.
What is the New Zealand?
I think it's the
factor?
fresh berries with that mished into the vanilla. I think that's like the concept.
Oh,
of
okay.
it. Yeah.
I was like, did she say?
Yeah, it is New Zealand. You caught that right.
Okay, cool. My uppers of the week is I had some really good pad thai actually from the pho.
When?
I think I've already like addressed the pho before for their coffee, but I had some pad thai like the other day. I picked it up. I was out, and it was really good. It hit really, really good. So
Sounds good.
yeah, I love pad thai.
Okay. I had pad thai for not the first time, but like the first time with eggs in it, and it was very interesting.
Do you not like eggs?
Well, I was vegan and I'm going like vegetarian, so I've been trying to eat more eggs, and it's kind of hard if it's in pad thai because it really killed the vibe.
I get the egg ick sometimes.
Exactly.
It's gross if you think about it. Like I try not. I think like eggs and mayonnaise like are two things I enjoy eating, but I try not to think
And
about it.
it has egg
like,
as well, I think.
Yeah, I think mayonnaise has eggs in it.
Yeah,
We went into
all
food
eggs.
now.
Yeah, we're a food review podcast now. I think my yuppers would be I got coffee with my brother the other day.
Aww.
He's behind the camera, so he knows. But yeah, we got coffee, so it was chill. And
Where'd you go?
To a top secret location. That's my place.
Well,
you can't expose my location.
You're right. She's
Only the
all
real
time.
ones know.
She's gatekeeping.
Yeah, I had to gatekeep. But yeah, so that was cool. And now I think for realsies, we're ready. For real. We're ready for your questions, Reza.
Okay.
Ben's gonna dive into everything we need to know.
Yes. So the first one is just if you want to give us an overview, like about Sustain the Mag, like what do you do? Like when did you found it? Like tell us about it.
Yeah. So I founded Sustain the Mag in college when I was a senior, 2017. I graduated 2018, and I wanted to create like an independent online publication similar to RIP Refinery 29, Vice magazine, also RIP in some way, because these were like big, and I went to school for journalism, and I was like, oh my God, I look up to like these big online publications, but they weren't hitting the nail right in terms of like environmental justice. Like no one was talking about environmental justice. And even like the bloggers back then were talking about sustainability in like more of a whitewashed, inaccessible way. So I was like, no, there needs to be a change. And then I loved fashion magazines, and I was like, all the fashion magazines and like the people on the covers aren't really like everyday people. They're not real life change makers in the world that are doing awesome things. So that's kind of where like the idea spurred from, is like wanting to change how I saw online magazines. And yeah, it just is supposed to be a publication embodying slow media, making sustainability accessible and inclusive for everyone, and like creating thought-provoking storytelling, articles and, events, and just making it a fun, unique way of like understanding the everyday intersections of our lives and how it connects to environmental justice. So that's where it came from. That was like 5 years ago. So yeah, it's been a cool journey.
Okay. It's like a whole toddler now. I can walk.
Yeah, it's a toddler.
It's more than a toddler. 5 years. That's like kindergarten age, right?
It's a kindergartner.
I
don't have kids, so I don't know the ages. He's a teacher.
Well, I mean, that kind of like you kind of covered the second question we had, which was like, what led you to creating Sustain? But if I can toss like what's it called, a curveball?
Guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, how often do you update Sustain? Like, is it something that comes out like quarterly, monthly? Is it just like as you get content?
As of now, our editorial is currently paused, and that is because we have a big shift coming. But prior to that, we were taking in like 5 to 10 articles per month, and they're all online. We don't do really quarterly, but one thing we do quarterly is our digital covers. So basically, like what I was saying earlier is like the fashion magazines or just like Time magazine, you know, have like Taylor Swift, for example, on the cover, and it's like, is that really the person of the year? So we have a quarterly, or try to, depending on like my schedule. We have our own digital cover star, and usually it's like local people. So the last person was Lucille. She's the founder of the Texas Buffalo Tribal, nonprofit based in Texas. She's, indigenous, trying to bring back buffalo to Texas and showcasing, the indigenous culture around buffalo. So we highlighted her, went to her farm, saw the buffalo, and that was like one of our last cover stars. So it was really exciting to kind of go out and like see buffalo in real life. Like I haven't done that. So yeah, I would say that is like more of like a quarterly basis, and it's like a big production where we like have the photographer, the videographer, story around this person, and we just find them based on like who we think is like a change maker in our lives.
That's so cool.
I think we've heard of the what would you call it?
The Texas Buffalo Project.
Yeah, I think we've heard about that whenever we were at Tanzia's dinner party, and they were mentioning that.
Yes, they mentioned that then. I remember at the Bengali night.
Yeah, I was very interested in that. I thought it was just a unique concept that was really.
I can't imagine how big they are. Like,
yeah, there's some babies too.
I saw horses. I think in real life on Sunday when we all were.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like horses are like huge. Like I can't even like imagine how big like.
Yeah, we couldn't get too close to them because if you do, then like it can be a little dangerous. But we got close enough, and it was cool to see them. And like there was a lot just like running wild on her. Not running wild, but they were like living wild on her land.
Wow. That's
yeah.
So beautiful. So the next one we have is like, how is Sustain the Mag like showing up in or for like the Austin community specifically?
Yeah, so since I moved to Austin 4 years ago, I made it my mission to kind of like immerse Sustain in the Austin community. And with the pandemic, it kind of like, I couldn't really do that. I took that in the back burner in terms of community in real life projects and like activations. But at the early stages, it was mostly like we did monthly cleanups because it felt more like COVID friendly. We could like all wear masks, be outside. We had a spot that we would always do. I haven't done this in a while because I've had since more projects that are different. And I wanted to do things outside of just cleanups because I was like, oh, maybe I can do other things that also impact with the community. So since then, I got introduced to free fridges, I think like 2.5 years ago, or maybe more, 3 years ago. And then I wanted to create fundraisers using my like connections, like partners, companies, brands, to raise money and buy groceries and just fill a bunch of fridges up for like Earth Month, for example. We did it for South by last year. I've done that in Austin and New York, but primarily I've done that in Austin every year for the last 2 years. So that was one way. And then another way is like my next project was like trying to make, public transit and the bus more like accessible and cool and fun. So like I'm starting a new series where I partner with Cap Metro and I try to like make like sustainable bus tours where we have like routes that go to different spots to like highlight different businesses or places in our city that are sustainable and have environmental justice background, and then like bring people there on the bus. And that's been a fun thing. I launched that last month, and you guys were there, or you were there. Wait, yeah.
It was cute. I love that. Yeah.
So I would say I like showing up in Austin in like how I feel, what I feel passionate about. And that's like cleanups, free fridges, public transit, and like just trying to make it more fun and unique and not so scary. So, yeah.
Yeah, the bus tour was really cool because like I like come from like the suburbs where like public transit is not a thing really, and so I was like moving here, I was like I don't even know how to like use the bus or like figure out the routes or anything, and so like that was like a really cool way to like help like even just like become familiar with the environment of like a bus stop and like being on the bus and like. Yeah, so I really think it's
I'm happy.
awesome.
Yeah, I think you've helped me like figure out kind of how the buses work. I know I've taken the bus with you maybe like 4 times, so I'm not as stressed. So that's good.
Yeah. Even though I'm making you guys run to the stops.
Yeah,
it's part of the experience.
The Reza experience.
So sustain, I want to like make sure I get this quote right, but sustain is described as your #1 inclusively ethical media site. So what does this like mean? Like, and how is that like reflected in sustain?
Yeah, I would say that goes back to that, what I was mentioning earlier, like in 2017 when I started sustain, I saw bloggers at that time in New York City and California, like not bring inclusivity and environmental justice in their sustainability blogs and articles. And even when sustainability was talked about in the mass media, it wasn't as such a buzzword like it is now. Like everyone is like interested in it. Like even, Shein and like H&M are like trying to claim that they have some sort of sustainability even though they don't. But back then no one cared to talk about it as much. Obviously people in the communities did talk about it. I just mean mass, like big multimedia, pop culture, all of that, like no one really spoke about it. But of course, like, the indigenous communities, like, yes, they did. So I just want to like make that clear. But in media in general, it wasn't being talked about in that inclusivity way. So that's why I claimed myself as that at that time, because I did a lot of research trying to figure out like who is out there that's doing this. And I really didn't see that much. Maybe a few, definitely, but they were more on the blogging side. And mine, I was trying to stay away from being a blog, and I was trying to be like, hey, we are an online publication that's like very similar to a magazine like Refinery 29 or Vice. And I don't just write the articles, I have contributors. So that was why I was trying to like be a little different than a blogger, because usually bloggers, which is nothing wrong with them, I was a blogger, but most likely you write your own articles or own pieces versus like a magazine, you have contributors. So that was where that statement came from, was like, did my research, I found out like not a lot of people were doing this in terms of like a magazine, online magazine format. So yeah, I had that. And obviously there has been a lot more that came out since then, and that's awesome. There's a lot of like, inclusive environmental justice like magazines that are now out that are print and digital, which is great because it's like kind of shows that, people do care and it's now being talked about more, which I think we all know, like that people are talking about environmental justice more in their everyday life. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from. And I know we're probably not the #1 anymore, but back then, yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like a perfect segue into like the last question is, where do you see sustain headed? Like, do you want like, it's #1 in my head, but like do you want to reach that like #1, or like, where do you see your?
I think, and this sucks to know, that media and journalism is dying. More people are interested in short form videos. More people are interested in like graphics, not so much long form articles as much. That's why RIP to Refinery 29 and RIP to like Vice. Like I'm seeing every day, like all these like publications that like I looked up to back in 2017 are like going under. They're not doing well anymore. So because of that, it makes me think, is editorial still what I want to do, even though it's my passion, even though it's what I went to school for? So what's next is, I think Sustain the Mag is meant to be a nonprofit. We are not right now. And I want to focus more on community-led events, community initiatives and programs. And I also want to have still our editorial aspect, but maybe not focus on it as much, because it was a lot to juggle both the community events and editorial at once. So, and maybe have a print one day. Maybe it's like a once a year, coffee table book where people can read and like just have it out. And yeah, that's like my dream. I've always wanted to print one type of sustain, even if it's just a one-off and not like an every year thing. So yeah, we'll see.
That'd be really cute. Just a little coffee table
Yeah,
book,
that'd be
like
cute,
Sustain the
yeah.
magazine.
Yeah,
Yeah, we would have that.
for sure.
I would give
I'd
you
ask you to
guys
sign
one.
it again.
I will just give you one, so don't worry.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask about, you had mentioned your contributors. Are they all here based in Austin, or are they around?
They're all over the world. We've had writers from Paris, India, Mexico, Canada, like the US. So yeah, they just have found us. I think our Google search is really great. And I get like still emails to this day where like, hey, can I write for you? And then like another thing about Sustain the Mag is when I was young, I wanted to write for like the New Yorker. Like it's like a, online, or not online, it's a print publication. And I was like a 15-year-old thinking I can just submit and I'll be accepted. And I did submit and I did not get anything. I didn't hear anything back. So I wanted Sustain the Mag to be someone that wasn't like elitist, that would just like only accept you if you're like you're the, have so much, bylines of major publications. So that's another thing is like we have a pretty high acceptance rate because we really just want people to share what they want and what they're passionate about, and like to, let Sustain help them, get their feet wet in case they're not, big, journalists and writers, or maybe they are young. We've had some like, young, 17, 8-year-old writers just write for us about what they care. So that's another thing that I'm proud of about Sustain is like we, let anyone's voice be heard so long as it kind of follows the environmental justice like scope.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. You can write for them, Ben.
Yeah, I was like, I used to be like a little 16-year-old that was like, I wanted to get into the New Yorker, the Paris Review, like stuff like that. But then I got older and like, I was like, oh,
Sustain the Mag's better.
Yeah, exactly. It's more for everyone. This is like so off topic, but like hearing you talk about 2017 and saying like back then, I'm like, oh my God.
You're old now.
I'm like, whoa.
I know, it's
I was like a senior in
now.
high school that year. And I don't know, like in my head, I'm like, oh, that was like, what, like 2 years ago? And I sat here and when you said back then, I was like, Reza, it wasn't that long ago. And then I'm like, it was 7 years ago.
Yeah,
like,
it was long ago now.
Long time. Like,
The last time we recorded a podcast, Ben was 23.
oh God.
Get that through your head.
That's like, I got to sit with that now. Like, yeah.
I was watching the last podcast and you're like, I'm going to be 24.
Oh, yeah. I remember that part. 'Cause
Now
it was
look
like
at you.
10 days before my birthday, I think, or like 12 days, something.
We were counting down.
I like randomly spiral about aging sometimes. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, I know age is like just a number or whatever, but I'm also like, wait. Like,
It is.
You'll be composted.
like,
Do you think you would want to be a tree when you...
It's got dark.
I know. It's like,
No, but
So
like
like-
how they're like, you can be composted and
Oh,
become
Yeah,
a tree.
you can. Yeah.
Would you want to do that? Would y'all want to do that?
That'd be cool.
no.
I might just want to be, what is it called?
Cremated.
Yeah.
That's
I was
what I
going to say
want.
fire.
Oh, fire. Just burned. Like, no, I'd want to be cremated and like
Your
released.
ashes thrown.
Yeah, somewhere.
I'd want to be a tree.
I mean, I won't be
That
here
does
for-
sound cool,
I mean,
though.
that'd be cool.
You
yeah.
can pick what kind of tree you want to be too.
Maybe
It's
we can be
sustainable. Think about that.
These trees or plants.
Plants,
Yeah. It can be a Monstera deliciosa.
Or a peace lily.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you for being on today's podcast.
Of course. Thank you for
Talking
having
about
me.
death and sustainability.
you know, it's all a cycle. What's it called? The circle of life.
The circle of life, yeah.
So,
So where can the people find you? Where can they get in contact? Find your
Yeah.
mission, everything about you.
Yeah, so you can find me at Reza Christian, RezaChristian, or also at Sustain the Mag, and then my website is sustainthemag.com. And yeah, if you want to write for me, I will accept you.
Yay.
tell them E4 sent you.
Yes.
E4U
yes.
sent you.
Get like a coupon, not coupon codes, like reference codes.
Yeah.
Do you have any upcoming events you'd like to share this next year or whatever?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned it earlier, but I am the co-founder of Slow Fashion Festival, and that is coming up, our spring fashion show, April 13th for Earth Month. So that is our next one. And then I will have an upcoming bus tour soon. Date is TBA, but just follow at Sustain the Mag and you can get all the updates there.
That's cute. And where can everybody find us, Ben?
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter,
We don't have Twitter.
Sorry. We're going to do it from the top. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and LinkedIn at E4U.
E for youth.
Youth. Fuck me.
Start again over.
One more time, man. One more time. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube at E4Youth.
Yes. And thank you for everybody for watching. Season 2 is,
a lot of fun.
it's going to be updated. It's going to be full of greenery, and it's going to be here at DAWA. And that's everything from E.
For.
Yep. Oh, we need to do our high five.
Oh yeah, this is it.
Oh.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Did I say that okay? Did I say?
Oh, social media questions.
Oh, yeah. That's you.
I said you, right? Not youth, because then you go. Wait.
You said youth. You did it right.
I don't
It's
know what I
fine.
said.
Nobody knows.
We'll chop it. It's...
I'm like, yeah.
Just have me point, and that's it.
Yeah.
Look, the camera died.
No, it's on this camera, Ben.
Oh, because, yeah.
They're plugged in. How are they going to die? So now we're going to do social media specific questions, and you can just look at that camera and answer them.
Okay.
The first one is, if there's one thing you want people to know about Sustain, what is it?
I want people to know that Sustain the Mag embodies slow media, which is all about, being intentional with our journalistic and storytelling mission and understanding, what we put out there should be more impactful versus harmful. So, yeah, slow media.
What are you most proud of with Sustain?
I think I'm most proud of, and a lot of people don't know this, and I'm being more transparent. I have had a full-time job not entire time, but for a majority of the time I've had Sustain the Mag. And it's been a passion project, and it's something I'm just very passionate about, and I don't ever want it to see it die because it's my baby. So yeah, that's, I think, the most thing I'm proud of is like juggling, a lot while still having Sustain the Mag.
How can we become involved locally in the environmental justice movement?
Ooh, I would say multiple things. It would be kind of like cleanups, I have an awesome friend that does Garbage Human, which is basically, encompasses like, having and picking up trash whenever you can, fill a bag, find a bag, fill a bag program. And then also understanding like our free fridge programs here in Austin and like contributing to that more, helping clean the fridges, helping, provide groceries when you can. And yeah, just being more a part of that side of our community, because environmental justice isn't just about, how we can, be zero waste, but also how we can give back to our community.
Hi, I'm Elisa.
I'm Ben.
And this is E for You. Today's podcast episode is about what? What is it about, Ben?
We're going to talk about art.
Little art episode. I don't know if y'all remember, but in season 1, we did art as well. You remember, Ben?
Yeah, I do remember that. We did a little art and identity and stuff.
I know.
So.
We talked about art too. But we're not as sophisticated as this next guest. This next guest is like a full-blown artist. Would you like to introduce yourself? Like, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Vini. My business is Vini's Art Studio. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, we're so happy.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, y'all. Y'all are here with our friend V, Vini, Yeah, I'm a big fan. I have my little Abodo sticker.
Oh, yeah. It was great. Thank you for showing up to that FYP Day Market. It was so fun. I was like really touched when I saw y'all. I was like, oh my gosh, they actually came.
I still have that little,
when you tell people to come and they actually come, I'm like, okay, we're friends.
Yes.
Instant connection right there.
I still have a little booklet that you signed with your lips on it, like on the cover.
I see that around town, and I'm like, I know her. She's famous.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I still have that. What is that thing I bought from you? That cool, like, little postcard looking thing.
Yeah, you bought like it was like a 3D model of like a kitchen with like the spoon and the forks.
Yeah. It was cool. I have that hanging on my wall actually. So
that's so sweet.
Definitely check out.
Every day thinking about V, just V's.
Everywhere you look, V's there. Like,
I'm around.
Exactly. She's out there.
And we like to start every episode off with yuppers, you know, like a little thing of the week, the month, the year. What is yours?
Mine? Okay, so I got this last spot at this class at Laguna Gloria, or the Contemporary. It's for a mural class, and I got the last spot. So I'll be in a mural class in like March, April. It'll be fun.
Okay. We're going to see your murals around town. We'll be like, we know her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about you?
What's your yuppers, Ben?
Mine would probably be. That's a great question.
I don't know mine
I
either.
just had a really good quesadilla from Denala. I don't think I've mentioned them yet on here, so.
I think I mentioned Denali before,
Okay.
but you go
Well,
ahead.
I haven't,
you go
so it's
ahead.
okay if I do it. Yeah, I think that would probably be it. That's all I can think of right now.
Okay. My uppers would probably be, maybe it's not as cool as y'all's, but I'm getting my earring collection up, you know. I don't know if y'all noticed watching our videos, but I have a lot of earrings, and it's starting to become a collection, like more than 30.
That's cool.
So it's a lot. But, you know, maybe you need to make earrings, and I should start wearing your earrings. I'll go around
Maybe.
town and, like...
That's a whole new skill I gotta learn then.
Well, if you do know that skill, I will wear those.
You can experiment. She'll wear
Build
anything.
another income stream from earrings.
Yeah, like, aren't you a YouTuber now? Like...
Yeah, a little bit.
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
cool,
You
cool.
can start trying those out on your YouTube channel.
That'd be kind of cool. Maybe like live stream, like the making, like the process. That'd be something cool.
We're giving you the
Yeah,
new
that'd
little
be
ideas.
fun.
Yeah. We take
Yeah.
20% royalty.
Oh,
Making it fun.
okay. He's like trying to be your manager and everything.
The studio manager.
I love earrings too, though. Have that in common.
No?
Love earrings.
Yeah.
A collector.
She gets it. She gets
She
it,
gets
Ben.
it. I
When
might
are
as
you
well get
gonna
my ears pierced. I might as well. I
You
don't
should.
know.
Whole cartilage,
Yeah.
whole
Drop a
industrial and
comment if I
everything.
should get my ears pierced.
Yes,
We're gonna do that
drop
live
like a
stream,
live,
y'all.
live Q&A.
When we hit 2,000 followers.
Yeah, do a poll. Be like, look, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll pierce my ears
And nose.
and nose and lips.
Peer pressure.
Just like, yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna get started in questions. Ben's gonna, ask you the questions that all your fans want to know.
Okay, I'm a little
Yeah.
nervous.
So first, let's just tell us about Vini's art studio. Like, when did you establish it? What kind of like work do you do? All that kind of stuff.
Sure, yeah. So last year I started getting more involved in the local art community. I did a solo exhibit. It was my first one at the Asian American Resource Center. And then I did another solo exhibit at Book People. And then through there, people were finding me and like trying to buy more prints and stuff. And so I thought I should really make this like a legit business instead of just like, selling prints and not really like keeping track of like how much time I'm putting in and like how much I'm earning from this. So last, October, I wanted to make my business official and start vending. And so I applied for my Texas sales tax use permit. And with that, I can, charge taxes with like purchases. Then I have to report my income quarterly. So like 4 times a year I have to. I just reported my income like January 22. So did my first report. And then along with that, I did my DBA, which is like doing business as. And automatically when you sign up for your business, it makes your business name your first and last name. I didn't want my business to be like my name, so I just made it Vini's Art Studio. And it took me like, I don't know, maybe like a week or 2 weeks to get all of that sorted out. I went to the USPS. I had like a notary look at my stuff and sign it. It sounds very boring, but it's what you got to do to make your business legit. So there's that. And then I'm doing commercial illustration and public art. So with commercial illustration, I've done some like vector or raster images, graphics for all kinds of businesses, really. I've done work for higher education. solar, food and beverage. So I've done like some social media, some social media things, illustrations. I did some email designs, all of that. And then for public art, I'm just kind of like trying to get more involved in the community scene. Yeah, so I'm doing my first public art commission right now. It's really exciting. So it's like another stream of like, I don't know, like another stream of income I can tap into and grow. So it's like really been an adventure of learning a lot.
Okay.
Awesome.
I think I remember like the first time I saw your artwork was on the news. I follow your sister, and your sister was like, "Oh my gosh, look, the local news, my sister's on it." Was that what was like? How'd you get into that too? Like, was that the first public thing you did?
So that doesn't count. It was actually, that's the solo exhibit I talked about. So last year, April through June, I did a solo exhibit at the AARC. It's also like a government building. So that's what that interview was for. I was on the Fox 7 for like a minute or 2 minutes.
You're still famous to me, dude.
It's funny though, because my sister's like, "Who's on the news anymore?" My sister is, or your grandpa, or something. It was so funny. I'm like, that's true. I feel like being on a podcast is so much cooler though.
That's why you're on E4U, right, Ben? Right?
Exactly. We're better than Fox 7.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe we're the new icons.
Y'all are iconic.
Thank you.
Manifesting.
Thank you for hyping us up.
So it sounds like you do a lot of different like mediums and stuff. Do you have like a favorite one, maybe like in your personal time you like to do, or like one that just comes like most natural to you?
Right now, I'm doing a lot of digital art. I mostly work in Procreate. So my process could be different depending on what I'm doing. I am mostly sketchbooking on Procreate, or making vision boards on there, making mood boards for my next painting or my next illustration. I also do traditional art, like oil paintings, and I've been getting into more like pastels, oil pastels or soft pastels. Those are fun too. I like the materiality of like physical materials. And the way that it just sounds when you rub it in the paper, it's very soothing. I can paint or draw straight for like 3 hours with no music and just zone in. Or yeah.
You pay attention to like how those sound for like hours?
Yeah, I can do it for, I will say like 3 hours max.
Wow.
And then, you get hungry, you get sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'd be really relaxing though, honestly. Like,
Yeah, she can start her ASMR channel.
Yeah, honestly.
These ASMR.
I could, I love falling asleep to like the TikTok lives.
Me too. Yes.
Yeah, but
I'm so embarrassed to admit that. But
I don't like listen to like the arty things. I listen to like the wood soup.
I've seen wood soup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's a form of art in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they're like choosing different types of like wooden balls and like rubber balls, and they just like float.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fun.
So
throwing them
satisfying.
around in the water.
It was good.
Yeah.
Why we love that.
No, I've never admitted that publicly. Like, not even to my friends, but I feel safe now. So
You're safe.
You're
heard. I hear you.
I never knew that.
For ASMR, yeah, exactly.
I like watching like ASMR, like the people eat.
Oh,
like
I
mukbangs.
I can't do that.
Do
I
you
get too
like
hungry.
Like,
No, I get hungry.
Do you like mukbangs?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I want to go get some food. So
Exactly. I like the spa day ones too. They do like the.
Oh,
I
the
just
one.
I like the
Food.
spa.
Is it the one where they like pretend they're combing your hair?
Yes, and they like pretend like pamper your face and
Yeah,
like. all
we're
this
weird.
Stuff.
It's
I
fine.
like
yeah, it's
watching those, but with animals. Like they'll do like little cat ones.
Oh, and there's like a puppy one that they do,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
This
the
is-
animals so adorable.
Dude, we need to find an ASM artist. Like, to have on the podcast?
Do you know?
Do you know?
No, this is
No.
about V.
No, that goes great into the next question. Is actually, how do you connect with like local artists, like the local art community?
Yeah, so with connecting with local artists, I take a lot of classes or like artist training programs at the DAC or the Doherty Art Center. I meet people through there. Right now I'm going like twice a week, so I'm in a public art class. I'm just there with them and we check in with each other. We're kind of just like, hey, how's your project going? Because some of us are like we got the same grants for things, and then we kind of just like consult each other just for support. And we're like, oh, you did it that way? Okay, I'm gonna take that into consideration, and like maybe I'll approach it the same way. So it's really like a little community there. And then what else? I see them through Instagram stories, like events, and I'll go to them and I'll meet some cool people. Or I'll have friends send events to me and I'll just go anyway. I feel like I'm a yes person. So I just go and I'm like, okay, why not? Whatever. And then I meet friends through friends. So I go to this like little club called Slippers Assembly. And then I met really cool creatives like writers, rappers, other artists through there. It's really neat. And then also I met a lot of people through Asian Season. Mm-hmm. So it's this nonprofit that's coming up. And yeah, it's like a collective of really talented people who bake, who make like crafts and murals and paintings and all that. So meeting friends through friends, I think, is the most effective way for me. But when I go to those events I see on Instagram, it's like, it's not, like, I can't really predict what's gonna happen. And I think that's really fun. So I just show up there with an open mind and be like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I might meet someone really cool. I might meet my next bestie. Who knows? Yeah. And sometimes like I'm exhausted. I'm like so tired because like I need a lot of time to recharge my social battery from like all of those events, because I'm really not good with names. And I go to those events and I'm like, hi, my name is this. And then you meet like 20 people. How are you supposed to remember 20 names?
See, that's the trick. You're supposed to be like,
hard.
hey, how's it going? Long time no see. Hey, girl. Hey, boy.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the trick,
I do that. I do that
Yeah.
too.
It's like worse when they like remember your name or like
Oh,
something specific
no.
about you, and they're like, "Oh, I remember you said you like this." You're like, "You go to this." I'm like, "Yeah," and I remember exactly like who you
We know
are.
what you're
like,
talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a little embarrassed when I'm like,
Yeah, you just gotta keep like a happy face, like they can't tell, and it's like, So it sounds like you have Beanie's art studio up and running and stuff. Like, where do you see it headed now? Like, you know, what direction do you see?
So right now, I see myself being consistent and staying true to myself. I make a lot of artwork that is inspired by my Filipino heritage, and I'm very proud of that, and I want to keep continuing to do that. And I think I'm just going to continue building my multiple like income streams, and I'm learning as I keep moving forward that this is really the way it is. Like, if you're an artist, you have to have like multiple streams of income in order to, you know, pay rent, do the things you love to do. I'm looking more into art licensing, building a collection of things. I would love to, you know, see my art on products, on like physical products. That would be fun. And then also just building like my online store, and then building up my online presence like through video format, because that's just the way where it's heading, you know. And then, yeah, I just want to share my resources too. and like just pay it forward. So, you know, like right now on my website, I actually have like a community page where I made a list of the open calls that I've applied to and I've gotten. And I want people to find that and be like, oh, if she could do it, I could do it. You know.
Yeah, and that goes right into, you know, our last bit. Where can the people find you and watch what you're doing and you're going to be doing?
Sure. So my Instagram is vny.artstudio. And then my YouTube channel is also vny.artstudio. Yeah, you can find me through there.
Yeah, and where can people find us, Ben?
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and LinkedIn at E4Youth. And that's it.
Yeah, and that's going to be all from E.
For you.
We're going to do that again.
So, okay, we forgot to tell you. She'll say E, I say for, and then you'll look at that camera and say you. We
Okay.
forgot to say that part.
Got it.
From the
about
top. She's drunk.
I'm literally not. And that's all from E.
For
You.
Why are you dapping me up?
I don't know, I got nervous.
Were you nervous?
No. Okay, and now we have some social media questions. Just go into it. Yeah. Okay. The first one is. Oh yeah, you'll look at that one.
Okay.
Are there any upcoming markets or events that we can find you at?
Yes, on March 7, I will be at Delilah's Front Porch. I'll be vending art prints. With BPM, it's not like an unofficial South by Southwest showcase of art and music. And then, and then I'll be vending at Asian Season Festival at Austin Beer Works, Sprinkle Valley, March 28. Yeah, be there.
What's your favorite experience you've had with Beanie's Art Studio so far?
When people relate to my art, so somebody emailed me last Christmas talking about a specific like bear print. I did like a bear collection all about bears doing relatable things. And their roommate was talking about it apparently for such a long time. And then she finally got it for her. And I was like, that's so sweet. You are such a thoughtful person and kind person. I'm so happy that good people have my art. Yes. So in April 28, I'll be at Asian Season Festival. I'll be selling prints at Austin Beer Works, Sprinkle Valley. So be there. It's going to be so fun. And then in May, I'll be at Blue House. It's an art residency, so I'll be there all month. I'll post the public events on my Instagram.
Hi, I'm Elisa.
I'm Ben.
And this is E4You. Today's podcast. What's today's podcast name, Ben?
We're going to talk about garbage humans.
Yes, but not those kinds of garbage
Not
humans.
trashy.
The good kind. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, my name's Kelly Stewart. I run Garbage Humans of ATX, which is an org that we host trash cleanups once a month in Austin, all around. We switch it up. Yeah, and it's like a social thing. You know, a lot of people do like social bike rides, but this is like a social trash cleanup. It's a great way to meet like-minded people.
Well, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We were here like hoping for you to be, you know, in our presence on our podcast, right, Ben?
Excited. I'm loving all the purple.
Yes,
our going on.
Purple is our vibe today, in case you didn't know. And another vibe we like to start off with is yuppers. So, you know, what's your yuppers today, Kelly?
Something that has brought me joy this week, I learned about an org called Heartening Austin. Mm-hmm. And the mission is to try to find a home for anything that you want to donate in Austin. So they have a website, heartening.org, and you can just Google like breast pump or computer monitor or like literally whatever. And there's a list of like somewhere that will take it, or you can schedule a pickup or like a drop off. And I just think that's so cool. I think like eliminating the middleman of the thrift store or whatever, and just giving folks directly what they need is really cool.
I love thrifting. You love thrifting?
I like thrifting. Yeah. I also like direct aid.
Exactly. What's your yuppers?
Mine would be this Saturday. I went to the work conference, which is sponsored by Future Front, and I went with our friend Reza, and it was really cool. I learned a lot of things. I met a lot of really cool people. There was a lot of like networking. So it was a really good experience.
Okay. In case you didn't know, Reza was our first guest for season 2 of E4U here at DAWA and for E4 Youth. I think my uppers would be the Addies. I was the project manager for that, and I've been involved in the Addies in the advertisement world it's been a hot minute. But, that was a big challenge I took on, and I really liked it. I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Yeah, was it?
Good event.
I'm glad you liked it. I'll invite you to more.
Networked there too.
Yeah, he's been busy.
Yeah.
Fun little drink tickets.
It finds on the floor. This one's for me. But yeah, I think we're gonna get into questions right now, Ben. What you got? What do you got?
All right, so like we said, the first thing is like garbage humans is not trashy people. What is it? Like, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so the name just started off a play on words. It started off with just me and my friends, informally doing trash cleanups. And one of my friends, after a while, had said something about like him being a garbage human as a joke. And I was like, actually, that's a good name because it's like, we're humble. We're not bragging. Anywho, yeah, Garbage Humans we do trash cleanups once a month all around town. And I try to use the online platform too. I have an Instagram page to share local and national climate action steps. And then I also try to use the platform to share climate optimism because slipping into that climate doom is real easy, and there are good things happening that don't get enough attention, so I try to use this space for all of those. So you'd even have to come to the cleanups to be a garbage human.
Yeah, that climate doom, it hits hard.
You're
hits
just
easy.
there and you sit down, you spiral.
And it's
brutal.
like, because what is the thing, this is a little bit off topic, I think I saw it a couple of years ago, they said we have to 2030 or something to reverse the emissions or something like that.
I think it's even been bumped up. It's rough.
Yeah,
but
it's
anyway,
really easy
we
to
need the examples of what is working, and so yeah, I try to use this space to share that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been involved with Garbage Humans? How long have they been in Austin? Maybe where are they showing up?
Yeah, so me and my friends started it together, just like I said, informally at first, just with our friends. And then so that was in March 2021. So the first cleanup, we all had masks because it was, we were just a cautious group. And then I think that fall, a friend was just like, man, I've met so many wonderful people at these cleanups. Have you thought about opening this up and making some sort of social media? So we did, and it's just kind of steadily grown since then. As far as where we clean up, all over, we typically go, I try to plan them for different areas of town so that it's more accessible to people, especially I have a couple of friends who don't have cars, and so going somewhere all the way across Austin is not always easy. So anyway, usually we rotate between Bartholomew Park, the 360 Overlook, because there's just so much foot traffic through there. People will bring their Starbucks cup or whatever and just toss it. Boo.
Exactly.
And Secret Beach, which is part of Roy G. Guerrero, so that's South Austin. So try to hit up some different areas, but we've done a couple of camp cleanups as well. So areas where there either are or were unhoused people living, and try to, because it's, if you're having a hard time making money for food, it's hard to get things like trash bags or to even know where to put that because there's no real legal place for unhoused people to dump trash. So anyway, it can pile up really quickly. So we've done 2 camp cleanups. The one earlier this year, we filled up 8 truckloads full of trash. It was the biggest one ever. It was, wow.
That was a
good
lot.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. How have you seen Garbage Humans kind of develop since it started? It sounds like it started out as like you said, like informally, like some friends, and now it's kind of like a full-fledged like thing. Like, how have you seen that develop over the past couple of years?
Yeah, it's mostly been for the good, for sure. I think part of the benefit of it expanding just beyond my friends is, of course, getting to meet cool new people, but then also just diversifying the group a little bit. Like, I personally love when kids come because they just ask the coolest questions, and it tends to just shape the nature of the conversation amongst us adults too, and just get excited, you know. And kids, they ask pretty thoughtful questions of like, well, why are people living in the park and stuff like that? And so it's like, yeah, it's always a fun exercise to try to explain more complex things, but like on their level, you know? Anyway, how else has it changed? I mean, it's definitely gotten bigger. We have too many followers.
It has what, like a couple thousand, I think. the last time I
Yeah,
checked,
we're at almost 3. Yeah.
Okay,
pretty
you're an
big, yeah, it's up
influencer.
No, I don't have it linked to my account or anything. But yeah, the community is growing, which is great. And I not all of those people can come. Like, I did a poll recently on the stories that just asked people directly, like, are you just here for the climate optimism? And they were like, yeah, like a good amount of the people were. And I think that's great. Like, there's space for that in the community too. I think it's just like gathering like-minded people who care about the planet and just like us all feel discouraged, right? Hopeless about it sometimes. And I'm not here to say too that the cleanups are like changing the world. Like, cleaning up the trash in the park is not stopping climate change, but it is an actionable step that you can take that feels good, and that inevitably, like, what is that? Like, snowballs into something else, right? And it's just like, we just need to keep doing things that fuel us and that feel good, and that always leads to other things. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, like, my mom took me to go to like to some garbage cleanup over there on like a trail in Austin. And I was like, wow, like every time I pass by that trail, even now, like I see it and I'm like, wow, I cleaned that one up.
Oh.
So I think there is a lasting impact that each person has and takes away from, like, you know, going and helping your organization.
Yeah, it's healing also to like have land stewardship and care for the land in that way. Like, we're pretty far removed from, I think, our ancestral roots, in which that was like a real everyday deeper practice. So it feels good to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like when I met you, it was at Bengali night when Tanzia hosted that, right? And I had never heard of like any sort of organization or anything. Like, I remember you described Garbage Humans to me. This was probably in like October, maybe.
That's all of our origin story on our podcast.
Like, it was around
that's where everything starts. Yes.
But yeah, and I had never heard of anything like that. And I remember thinking, like, leaving like with an impression of like, oh, that's really cool that, like, you know, there's people out here that care enough about, like, you know, the community and the land as well to, like, you know, really go out there and clean up it. Because I think like my only exposure really had been like, you know, like when you're driving on like the highway and there's like the people in like the bright yellow vest like cleaning up on the side of the road, like that's all I had seen. And
they're
then
not
I was
cleaning up because they want to. You
know
that,
it's like,
right?
what is it called, like parole or something?
Yeah, they're on
like,
parole.
Yeah.
But like hearing this, I was like, oh wow, there's people that really like go out there, like volunteer. Like, that's kind of something I had never really thought of, but I was like, I think.
Yeah.
Do something.
Okay. One thing about those folks, I always roll down my window and say thank you, and they love it.
That's so sweet.
Nice. But also I just want to say too, there are numerous organizations in Austin that do host cleanups. They're awesome. I'm not trying to like be like, don't go to them. I post Keep Austin Beautiful cleanups all the time on the Garbage Humans page. Okay. What I'm trying to do though is just like, so I don't have any, like, you don't have to sign up to come to a cleanup. You just show up. So for folks who, I don't know, have crazy schedules, or I don't know, it just feels a little bit more accessible. But no, there are so many great cleanup orgs in Austin, so I'm certainly not the only one. Awesome. Unfortunately, there's a lot of trash. Yeah. Any other questions?
I think we kind of flew through the questions. I don't even know how long
that
we've
was
been
pretty
talking.
much it. You know, we just really love helping the planet and being there, and what your mission is as an organization.
Yeah.
So would you like to share your organization and where we can find you to everybody else?
Yeah. So mostly I just run it through an Instagram page called Garbage Humans of ATX, which is linked to a Facebook page if Facebook is your thing.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah, it could be. And then I also, just a little plug, I'm also a core organizer for the Free Fridges in Austin, and that social media is at ATX Free Fridge. Yeah.
And everybody, we fully support Free Fridge.
Yes.
Go use
High quality ingredients.
Resources
everything.
at
Yes.
its finest.
Give some, take some.
Giving to the
It's really
community.
awesome.
Yes. And Ben, where can everybody find us?
You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook.
We don't have TikTok. Sorry, we're not that cool.
Not TikTok coming, but E for Youth.
Yeah. And that's all from E
For
You.
That's everything.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, that's it. Okay. Oh, one.
That's all from E
For
You.